I am blown away by the dumb things that people will do with free money. And believe me, the coronavirus is dishing out all sorts of free money. The government has just passed its $2.2 trillion bill, which means businesses are getting funding. If you're 1099 or own a business, there's $10,000 of disaster relief money. We're talking about mortgage relief if you can't pay your mortgage. Right now, 401ks and IRAs, did you know that there's no more penalties and taxes are spread over 3 years? Like, it's crazy. And some people are queued up to literally make the dumbest decisions in their life. Is learning how to take that money and finally have it actually go to work for them. It took me time to realize that what I actually had done was become financially free. Last month I dropped a video and I told you guys, don't buy toys, rent them, unless you're gonna use them so frequently that you can enjoy them and it financially makes sense. I think we're there. So today I'm going toy shopping. Last time we were in Tucson last month, my kids and I, we had such a blast. I was teaching them how to drive. We were tackling the hills. It was so much fun. I'm like, you know what? I need to own one of these things. But by the way, am I going to use my free government money for this? Am I going to use my savings for this? Am I going to dip into retirement to pay for one of these toys? No. Are you kidding me? Dumbest mistake people will ever make is taking their hard-earned money, let alone free money, like their $1,200 free stimulus money, but taking hard-earned money and then they will blow it and consume it. You build it and you spend it down. That is the dumbest thing you can do. What you're supposed to do is actually take that money, invest it, produce interest off of it, and then take that interest and go live an amazing life. Trust me, making millions of dollars, the one thing that I've learned in making all that money is that I put it to work and then I make it work hard for me, and the money that I get back, I use that to enjoy a really great lifestyle. So let's first talk about this $2.2 trillion stimulus bill. In all of our entire history, never has the government dished out so much money to its people. Why? Well, frankly, our Bill of Rights are being squashed on, as in, like, we're being told, you cannot work, you can't pursue happiness, you have to stay at home. Like, right now, everything is being dictated, and right now that's a violation of all our rights. And if the government does not step up to right that wrong, they know that they're gonna be looking at millions of lawsuits. That's the last thing that they want, because that's violating our amendments, it's violating our rights. So what's the government doing right now? What's all this free money that people are talking about? Well, you might already know about the 1,200 free dollars that are literally in the mail coming your way. Yes, there's different rules on how much money you actually make and what that looks like, but generally, for most people that aren't making even $75,000 a year, it's a $1,200 check plus $500 per kid. And is that a lot of money? It's not. Look at what is happening in unemployment. Last week, 6 million, the week before 3 million, 2 million. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many people are gonna be unemployed? They can't pay their mortgages. So right now the government is putting pressure on the banks saying, find a way to defer mortgages, find a way for 6 to 12 months to help out. For a guy like me, that's really helpful. Fortunately, what I'm seeing with my property managers on all of my properties, that most people are able to pay their mortgages. So that seems to be working out right now at this present time. Right now you got Payroll Protection Act. A company can file for up to $10 million of stimulus money from the $300+ billion that was set aside, and my company has filed for a big 6-figure check. And so there's money out there. By the way, if you're a 1099, work for someone else agent, or you're a small business owner and you don't have enough to file for that, there's likely in their disaster relief budget a quick 10 grand that you can file for on the SBA's loan website. So guys, there's all sorts of free money that is out there, but to cake topper it off, 401ks and IRAs, do you know what has shifted and changed there? No more penalties, you can pull that money out, and guess what? Instead of paying the taxes up front, you don't have to pay those taxes spread over 3 years. A lot of people are going to make some of the dumbest decisions of their life. They're gonna say, look at all of this money, and if they feel like they're in a somewhat secure financial situation, they're gonna start buying stuff. They're gonna start buying this or that or upgrading. But what they really should be doing is learning how to take that money and finally have it actually go to work for them. Stock market has lost all sorts of value, and that's not coming back anytime soon. On average, it takes 3 years just to get back to even from where it was at. You're talking about a 30-year play where you're averaging less than 10%. And here's what I can tell you. Single-digit ROIs, as in like between your 401ks and your IRAs in the stock market, if your blended average return is single-digit, you're screwed. There's not enough money to get where you want to go anyway. That's a big problem. So what should you do with this free money? What should you actually be doing with it? It's simple. You should always be asking yourself, when I get money or when I pay myself the money that I'm making before I pay all my bills, I should be putting that in something that gives me money back that I don't have to work for. Otherwise, you're just stuck in this race of trading dollars for hours. You want to own more stuff, you want to have more toys, you want to have more fun. Your investments should be buying these vehicles. Your investment should be sending you on trips. Your investment should be putting you in a bigger house. Your investment should be basically covering all of your expenses. When I say I was retired at 26, I never really retired. It took me time to realize that what I actually had done was become financially free. And what that meant was if I didn't work, I had $12,000 that was coming in every month no matter what. I've since gone on to buy so much more real estate than those first 25 homes. And so you got to understand that 401ks, IRAs, this stimulus money, the $1,200, PPE, disaster relief, as these monies come in, first of all, make sure that you and your family are covered and safe. But instead of going and buying these things, buy investments that pay for these things. For example, let's say that if I wanted this Polaris right here, let's just say that it has a $600 a month payment. Can I take my money and put it in something that can give me $600 a month so that my investment is paying for this? Uh-oh, my wife just showed up. Hey, how we doing? You doing well? Do you know why we're here?
Why are we here?
We are here to create memories. We're here to make sure that our children have like unforgettable memories of how Dad taught them to drive and going up in the mountains and literally living the dream. Oh, absolutely.
And none of them are 16?
Yes, of course. Yeah. So we need to buy one.
Okay.
I told you there would be the eye roll. You saw it. I've been living with this my entire life, the epic eye roll.
My eye rolls are epic and famous. Okay. Legendary even.
Legendary.
Okay.
And this is her job. She hates the buying process. So she's gonna push back and say, do we really need this? We don't wanna own anything, we'll just rent. And I'm like, how am I going to like convince my wife, you know, just to do this? It's all about finding out what she wants and then giving it to her really good.
Do you think he'll actually use it?
This is so stupid. No, every 5 to 7 years he wants to buy a vehicle like this, and then we never use it, and then it just sits there. And definitely he'll say, oh, I use it all the time. No, and not enough to justify buying it. And he's always saying to like rent something, because then you don't have to have the burden of ownership. I'm pretty sure he just did a video about that.
They're both turbocharged. Man, that was just fun. But I'm guessing that some of you are confused what I mean when I talk about don't invest your principal, don't eat your seeds, you've got to grow your harvest. I want to break that down for you and help you understand exactly what I mean. Now, let's just say for a moment that a UTV, utility vehicle, ATV, that you were going to spend $25,000 because you're like, Kris, that is a fun toy. And by the way, I'm going to finance it. And the average price to actually pay for this every single month, your monthly payment is going to be right around $300 every single month. So either you take 25 grand and buy it cash, which is stupid. Why? Because your money should be making you money, not being consumed. As in, if I buy that vehicle, what happens immediately after I drive it off the lot? It loses 25% of its value, and I can do nothing to ever get that back again. That's like just writing a $7,000 and depositing it in the garbage can, putting gasoline on it, lighting it on fire is just a really bad choice. So instead you're like, you know what, I'm gonna conserve my money. I'm gonna take that $25,000, I'm gonna have it as a note to the bank, I'm gonna put the minimum couple grand down, and I'm gonna have a $300 a month payment. Well, today what I wanna do is I wanna show you some alternatives. Instead of taking this, and this is what I call principal, this is the money that you have. What else could you do with $25,000? Did you know that you could take $25,000 and you could put that down on a house as a down payment? And did you know that this house could actually produce, I'm gonna call it a $400 a month cash flow, okay? Because when I do my lease option program, I'm often getting $500 a month. By the way, I'm just gonna pause. If anything I'm sharing with you is going over your head, check this out. This is my phone number, and this is my first time ever actually giving it out to you. If you want to save this phone number, 385-217-3477, you can text me anytime you want, and I'm going to be there to basically answer your questions so that if you don't understand this, it's important to me that you do understand. So check it out. I take 25 grand, I put it into a house, and now watch this. Instead of losing $300 a month, I am gaining $400 a month. Okay? That is because if I were to buy this vehicle right here, ooh, it's very cool looking, and that's its roll cage, and that's its door. This vehicle right here, it actually loses money, it depreciates, goes down in value, and I have to pay to feed it. I put 25 grand in a house, and guess what happens? It produces $400 a month for me. Now, why is that such a cool thing? Well, number one, I actually get paid. This is what I call a good debt. Good debts actually produce revenue that you get to keep in pocket every single month. Bad debts take money out of your pocket every single month. But number two, real estate on average. Did you know that since 1963, U.S. Census Bureau has shown that real estate goes up over 4.5% every single year? Now that may not seem like a big number, but let's just say that we're talking about a $100,000 house. That means that every year, this 100 grand, next year it's worth $104.5 thousand. The year after, with compounding interest, is closer to worth $110,000. The next year, $115,000. The next year, $120,000. So this is what is called an appreciating asset. It appreciates you, and that appreciation really means it goes up in value. So this appreciating asset means that it goes up in value, and I get paid, and you have a chance to buy this property with a discount so that when you walk into it, you're ahead. My brother loves to buy boats and vehicles. What he does is he flips them. He gets a discount, sells them, and then he makes like a big chunk of money. So really the big principle here is don't eat your principal. You have worked hard to save your money. Whether the government is giving you, check it out, $1,200, maybe you got some kids. If you got a spouse, there's another $1,200. You just started a brand new small business 2 months ago. You can get an almost instantaneous $10,000 disaster relief. Your mortgage is $1,500 a month and the bank covers it for the next 6 months. So there's $9,000 coming back to you. You use the government's program for your business and they end up writing you a $30,000 check. Like, you start adding all this up and guess what? There's a lot of money coming back to you. If you consume it, then you'll never see it again. Here's the real goal. I want you to get this. You work hard to PYF. I'm gonna show you right now literally how I made $1 million in 4 years. Technically $1.6 million. It started with me PYFing. Pay myself first, pay yourself first. Over 14 months, I was literally scraping every penny together I could, and I finally put $5,000 together. Now, trust me, I had never had $5,000 in my bank account like that before, and I wanted the big screen TV. I wanted to upgrade my car. I wanted a nicer place to rent. I wanted to pay off my wife's ring. I wanted all these things, but you know what I did with it instead? Instead of consuming it, I took this principle and I put it into a property. This is the very first house that I ever lived in. And here was the cool thing. I rented out the basement, and the basement covered the mortgage. So the payment I had to make to the bank, this $5 grand was basically a 3% down payment, still exists today. And on this small, tiny little house, my basement apartment paid for the whole mortgage, which meant that I was living for free. But then, guess what I did 4 years later? 4 years later, I sold it. And I made $65,000. I worked hard for 14 months, put $5 grand together, bought a house, and turned $5 grand into $65,000. And I either got to live for free, or when I moved out 2 years later, it was paying me. So I was making about $550 a month of cash flow every single month. While it increased in value, while I already bought it with the discount, and 4 years later, when I sold it, I got a big chunk of money. Well, do you know what I did? Check it out. I took that money and I used it to buy more houses. Then I got a track record and people like my father-in-law started giving me their money saying, let's partner up. And I started buying more houses. And listen, you might think I'm the real estate guy. I'm not. I'm the business guy. And this is a business. And what's the business? You take your money and you put it to work. You make your money work for you. If your money doesn't work for you, then you work for it. And that's because you're not paying yourself first. You should be trying to save 20, 30, or 40% of what you make. For some of you, you're like, I can't do that. I'm check to check like half of all Americans. I'm telling you right now, you can actually do that. But take these hard-earned dollars, save 20 to 30% of what you make, and then you take it and what do? You put it over here into assets. You put them into things that pay you on a monthly basis, things that go up in value, assets that appreciate, things that you can buy at a discount. In 4.5 years, I bought 25 homes. Those 25 homes gave me $12,000 a month of cash flow. My goal was 10 grand. I said, if I can make 10 grand automatically without needing to work, I'm out of here, I'm quitting my job. I got up to 12 grand and then I had the happiest day of my life, which was when I got to fire my boss. So guys, with this stimulus money coming in, or with 401ks and IRA savings, or with the fact that the average American has 56% of their house paid off, that means you have equity in your home. You can pull out your 401k, your IRA, you can pull out money from your house. And you know what you should do with it? Don't pay down debt. That's what people do here. They're trying to eliminate bad debt because they've been burned. Don't do that. If you want to pay off your debt, Dave Ramsey, he's coming for me. He's going to kill me for this one. I'm going to tell you right now, Dave Ramsey says, hurry and pay off your debt. You know what I say? Hurry and invest what you got so that you can use not the principal or your seeds that you need to grow your garden and your harvest and your fields. I want you to take that principal and invest it. And then when you get growth off the investment, pay stuff off. Case in point, I saved up $5,000. And you know what I could have done? I could have eliminated my debts like that because I had over 10 grand in debt at the time. But you know what I did? I took that 5 grand and in 4 years I turned it into $65,000. The cash flow paid for managing my debts, and then a time came when I just eliminated my debts, but I had a lot of leftover money. The government is dishing out money to people that are deserving and people that are needing it. You should be working hard and saving that extra money. And for heaven's sakes, take money out of your 401ks and IRAs. And if you don't know what to do with it, I'm going to show with you right now what you should be doing with it. My average ROI, which means return on investment, when I buy property these days, is 25%. And I want to tell you what that means. That means if I put in $5,000, then if I earn 25% this year, 25% the next year, over 4 years, if I earn 25%, 25% plus 25% is 50%. In the third year is 75%. In the fourth year is 100%. In 4 years, guess what I did? I doubled my money. So guess what happens to 5 grand? It turns into $10,000. Now, some of you have money in a 401k or IRA. Let's say that you got $40,000. Am I telling you that you can take 40 grand and double it to 80,000? With investments like this, you can. But if you keep it in the stock market, your 401k or IRA, your average blended ROI is going to be 6 or 7% over the long haul. Do you know how long it takes to double your money? Not 4 years. Try 12 to 15 years. And by the way, if you're going to work for 30 years, you're only going to double your money twice, you're screwed. So today's video, I want you to understand with the money that you're getting back, please do smart things with it. You can get your money out of the market, please do smart things with it. And if you don't know what that is, or if you watch this and you're like, but Kris, I have a question, check it out. Here's my phone number posted for the very first time, 385-217-3477. Some of you are literally gonna feel like I'm pranking you right now, like it's April 1st, and you're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna text this. This isn't really Kris Krohn. I'm gonna drop you a video, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is all about the coronavirus and understanding that the recession is not the worst of times, it is the best of times. My friend, it's time for you to go out there and freaking kill it. By the way, did I buy the Polaris? I didn't. Are you kidding me, man? However, I'm not done looking around, and I'll see that if I actually beat my wife in the arm wrestle, I don't really know how it's gonna go down. What I can promise you is I'm gonna make a financial choice that is smart, and no matter what, my investments are paying for it.